Hey everyone, Jessica DeMaria here, and it is December 11th, 2015, and those of you know that I am pretty much on a mission to stop parental alienation, and I have done about 16 documentaries so far. What I would like to talk about tonight is about the corruption in our court system. It's obvious that I've been going through this parental alienation for 13 years, and I only just came out about it through social media about 3 months ago, and it probably was a big turning point in my life because I went through the last basically 13 years afraid to talk about everything that I have gone through, and it has been a huge weight lifted from my shoulders to actually come out and talk about the things that I've gone through. And unfortunately, basically, I had said that I would never allow my constitutional rights to be taken away from me through 14 documentaries that I had made. Unfortunately, the 14th documentary was the last documentary that I had made that I was talking about, basically what exactly I've gone through. So if you haven't seen those documentaries, they are still there. They do exist. That was one of the agreements, that I was not going to take them down. It was my right to freedom of speech to express the truth. And so I did. But what it seems as though the last court date that I had, which was on October 29th, 2015, I keep looking back at what happened that day, and I keep seeing things just for what they really are. And I'm seeing that things that happened that day should have never have happened. And because I was vulnerable, I basically vulnerable and I was manipulated, by the system. And clearly there were some violations that happened that day. And as the days go by now, I am seeing that there is a serious problem. So basically, what I wanted to talk about was the fact that, our children who have been alienated from us, people who are going through this, our children have had their fundamental rights basically stripped from them, basically legally, when it really is illegal. And what has happened to us as parents, our children have been legally kidnapped from us. And notice I didn't say illegally. I said legally. And what I mean by legally is that basically, if you've been fighting in the court system, you have parental rights, you have joint legal custody, and you've never been proven to be unfit. Like, the courts have never proven you to be unfit. So therefore, you have the right to have a normal, loving relationship with your child, just as though the other parent does as well. Even though you may not have residential custody, you still have custody of that child. That child is still yours. You share this child with this other parent. And so You have rights. We have rights. Just because we do not have the child living with us doesn't mean that we do not have rights. And for some reason, with this parental alienation, those rights are being violated and nobody is doing anything about it. I have to speak up about this. I mean, my child is basically 18 now, so still in high school, but basically 18, and I can't, when it comes to me, I have to basically wait patiently. But when it comes to all of you, especially when your children are so young, and first of all, our children are so innocent to begin with, okay? And for them to have to go through this, it's violating their right. I just could not imagine putting myself, I'm just going to try to put myself in that position where, thinking about, because my parents are divorced and, as I had a really rough upbringing. Okay. And, no matter what happened, I always loved my mom and I always loved my dad. And that is just something that's unconditional. And I think that if my mother were to, do certain things to push me away from my father or to keep me from my father, as I grow up, eventually, now the way I think, the way that I, see things now, if that happened to me, I would probably be suing the court system because basically they, meaning the court system, the judiciary system, the family court system, is supposed to be there to protect my rights. So I'm the child and I grew up, and the court system is supposed to be there to protect my fundamental rights, okay? My fundamental constitutional rights, okay? And because I'm talking about myself, because I was young, I didn't know how to make the right decisions. I would make decisions based upon what my other parent wanted me to do or taught me, or, if the parent said things to me, I learned from that parent. And so therefore, I would be angry with the system knowing that the other parent that was alienated from me went through the system to try and see me, to try and have a relationship with me, and loved me. And here all this whole time, I have been thinking that this parent abandoned me and hated me and didn't love me and didn't care about me and just had no love for me. But all along, this parent did. And all along, this parent fought and fought and fought, and the court system never did anything, never tried to make things right, never tried to protect my rights in all this. Because when we're children, we're innocent. We only know what we grow to know. We only know what is around us, what our parents teach us, what other people teach us. We learn from the world around us. And if those people that are supposed to protect me, don't protect me, then I'm gonna stray. I'm gonna stray away, and I'm just gonna abandon the whole relationship, because that's something that just naturally you would do. And so that's what this parental alienation is like. Like sometimes, when you say put yourself in that position. So right now, what I've just done is put myself in that position, and knowing how I think now, I didn't think the way I think now, I didn't think that way 5 years ago. Okay. through the years, I've grown and I've learned to process things differently. And even just up until a year ago, I mean, there was many things that I didn't know how to process right, because I was still trying to gather what was going on with me and what was going on around me, with this whole parental alienation. I just could not figure it out. And as I grew and I gained knowledge, now I put myself in a position, I say, I would sue the court system for not protecting me. For that's what they're there for. They're there to protect our children. Okay? And so on October 29th, when I basically was ordered to not speak about certain people in association, that basically violated my constitutional rights, because I wasn't by any means, in any way, slandering, putting anyone in any danger, hurting anyone. If anything, I was trying to bring the truth out so that it is made aware to the world that this is real, that this parental alienation is something that not only I am going through, or I have gone through, still going through. There are thousands of people going through this, thousands of you going through this same exact thing. And our children are innocent. And we, as parents, want to protect them. Like I said, this is, for me, it's been going on for 13 years. So, I've been in the system for 13 years, fighting and fighting and fighting. Okay? And I thought, by law, that with the court system, if you bring into the court's attention that there is interference, proof of interference with a visitation, of a court-ordered visitation, and the other parent has interfered with that, I thought that there's a law against that. I thought you couldn't do that. But apparently, in our judiciary system, in the family court system, that's okay. You know what? It's just too much of a hassle for them to have to get into that. Or, the courts might say, it's too overwhelming. The courts is too overwhelming, and we can't possibly make good decisions on every case. Excuse me? Honestly, my case is just as important as every other case in the courthouse. Okay? But we're looked at as just numbers. We're not numbers. We are people. We have families. We have lives. And they're getting destroyed because the court system is failing us. And parental alienation is a big problem. It's a small problem of a big problem. And the big problem is the corruption that's going on. Okay? And it's all about money. It's all about, I don't know. I'm trying to figure all this out. The fact that, why don't these judges just make the good decisions? If they make good decisions, there'll be less of a caseload, but there still will be cases to have to be heard. But yet, as a judge, don't these judges want to make the best decision they can possibly make? They say they're for the children. I'm sorry, unless you're proven to be unfit, every single parent deserves to have a relationship with that child. I don't care. I mean, and where's our court system protecting that? It's not. It's not protecting that. And we have to do something about this. This can't go on anymore. It cannot go on anymore. Like I said, I'm just one person. There are thousands of you out there, okay? And you know who you are. We have to stand up. We have to make a difference. And we have to inspire each other to not give up, to keep fighting, because it might take time. It's going to take time. Like they say, Rome wasn't built overnight. Nothing gets done